Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's your boy Mike back at you one more again on a Thursday evening. It's almost the weekend. I know I'm ready for the weekend. I don't know about y'all, but I am ready for the weekend. First and foremost, shout out to my lovely wife, Takara. Thank you so much for being on the ones and twos. I love you and I appreciate that. Also, shout out to everybody in the chat. And then shout out to Replay Game for those of y'all who will be catching the replay of the episodes later. And as a reminder, audio recordings of Clutch Conversations are now available on all major podcasting platforms. So please go out there, rate us, review us, follow us. It really helps us out. I really appreciate the support. And speaking of support, make sure you're out there supporting US Arc and US Arc Florida. If you're in this reptile hobby in any shape, form, or fashion, please make sure you're supporting US Arc in any way that you can, whether that's a membership, whether it's a one-time donation, whatever you can do to support helps. Spread the word, do what you can, but we definitely need as much support for both of those organizations as possible. And then also shout out to the homie Armless Angels. I appreciate all the love that you and the family and the homie Steven from Weather Morphs showed this weekend at Tinley. It was dope hanging out with the fam the whole time. Really enjoyed it. Really appreciate it. Had a great time. Tinley was a blast, and we definitely need to get into that. So I want to get into the show. This man needs no introduction. Y'all all know who he is. That's who y'all here to see. We got Billy Rose from Mutation Creation, kicking it with your homie on Clutch Conversations. What's good, bro? How's it going?
Good. You can hear me well?
Yeah, you sound great, bro.
Awesome. Look at this.
Appreciate it, bro. Looks good on you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Austin dropped it off with a few other peoples and said, hey, man, look, I got a bunch of shirts for you. I'm like, super cool. So he just compiled it up, and he's like, oh, yeah, you're on that tonight. I'm like, yeah. He goes, here. He goes through all the shirts, and he goes, put it on. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So,
that's what's up.
Repping the gear.
Repping. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was great meeting Austin. He's dope, man. He's a real down-to-earth person. He's actually going to be on the show in December. I think like the first Thursday in December. Yeah, but yeah, it was dope getting to meet him. He was super cool, real down-to-earth person. I'm glad he made the deliveries for me.
Yeah, I'm glad him and Jaffe went. It would have been cool for a lion to go too, but he's just waiting on the damn passport thing.
Yeah.
But what's good is I've been to Tinley a few times, not in the last 5 years, unfortunately, but I've been to Europe and some other big shows, and just for them to see how big the industry is, like. We're big in Canada, Mutation Creation, there's a lot of companies and people breeding that are big. We're big breeders, and, we do well, in our market, but the market is so small here compared to the rest of the world. And, you talk about it, but when you actually go there, and Austin's like, man, it's crazy. He goes, dude, there's nothing like, I'm like, yeah, I know. You're preaching to the choir. I know. That's what I've been telling you, because it's a real eye opener.
Yeah.
So,
it was amazing, bro. Like, I didn't know it was Austin's first time at Tinley until he told me. It was my first time at Tinley too. Up until that point, the biggest show that I had gone to was Daytona. So I've been to Daytona.
Yeah. Well, that's big too. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
But I think Tinley is mecca.
Yeah, it was a totally different experience. I enjoyed it. And it's kind of like centrally located, so it was a lot more people there from like all over. It was dope, man. I had a blast.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I'm sort of jealous because that's all that was on my feed over the weekend. People posting selfies and look who I ran into, and the amazing animals and the booths and the guys set up, and then of course the dinners and the get-togethers afterwards. It's just like, man, like I need to to participate somehow quick. So.
Man, we saw some crazy stuff. Saw that special Pompeii from JSA. That was nice.
Yeah, the lighting guys, man. Yeah. They really cranking out some awesome stuff.
Yeah. And then Levance had an ultra male. A stranger double head ultra male clown on the table. I was like, oh man, and she was like 400 grams.
Yeah.
It's like, that was great.
And that's just what that's the thing is with there's a lot of guys out there like that. Like when he shows you stuff, imagine the stuff that he's not showing us.
Right. Because if he letting that go, just imagine what he has.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so real quick, for those that might not know, give us a little bit of background, even before the reptiles, and kind of lead into how you got into reptiles and ball pythons specifically.
Well, I used to actually a long time ago, probably close to almost 30 years. I used to import. I used to do saltwater fish.
Okay.
And I had a buddy that I met going to the store all the time, and I actually got involved helping import, a lot of like corals and live rock and different types of fish from Philippines and Indonesia, Fiji, stuff from LA. And that was sort of like a main hub, and I would import saltwater fish. So I was really into that scene. And then one day I just walked into Big L's to go talk to the guys that I know and pick up some stuff. And, they were busy. So I'm like, let me just walk around, because I've, 20 minutes of walking around fish I've already seen. Like, let's wander off. So I go over to the reptile department, and I'm like, holy shit, look at the size of the snake. And it was this big normal ball python. And, I walked out with it, with the tank and the lights and everything else. And of course, I learned, it was right out of Africa, so it was an import.
Wild coat. Okay.
Yeah, and full of ticks, full of mites, didn't eat, and of course keeping it under the red light at night, the white light. I didn't have, everything was improper. Had everything in there except, like, I don't even know if I had a hide back then. I don't even know. I just did whatever I was told by the guy at the pet store.
Gotcha.
And it didn't do well. And then when I went back, I had this whole setup, and I went back to do the fish thing. And he's like, hey man, how's that snake doing? I'm like, oh, that thing died like a month or so ago. And he's like, yeah, we get all in, and they don't really look that great, but you should check out this store called Port Credit Pet Center. It's located in Port Credit, and they specialize in all these, exotic animals. I'm like, what? So one day I went in there, and I was just blown away. Like, what? Look at the color on these things. Spiders, scorpions, leopard geckos. They had king snakes, corn snakes. They had, boas. They had, like, I've never seen a chameleon before. Except on TV, but a chameleon and different types of chameleons and lizards and frogs. And I was just like, what? This is crazy.
Wow.
So that just took me to a whole new level. And of course, I started off buying a bunch of everything. I had corn snakes, king snakes, frogs. I had like leopard geckos, cave geckos, bearded dragons, chameleons, a little bit of everything.
The whole reptile zoo.
Yep. And then I started, getting into the ball pythons, and I just ended up sort of transitioning just to ball pythons only.
Okay.
That was many, many, many years ago.
So what made you transition to ball pythons only?
Well, first with the lizards and stuff, crickets all the time, and you had to do this, and it was a lot of work for maintaining all the different species, and it was almost like it was more work for me. Because, we're out of crickets. Oh, really? Then I got to go to the store. And, of course, you go to the store, you look around, you buy something else. It's just, it's such addictive.
Been there, done that, for sure.
Like, you know what? I sort of got out of the lizards and the frogs and stuff. And I kept the corn and the king snakes. And I even had some sand boas back then. And I had ball pythons. And then slowly, it's like the ball pythons were bigger. And I just sort of... I don't know. I guess it's just something in me that just liked the look, and it was like a snake, and it's cool, not like the corn and the king snakes, and that's a snake, but it looks more like a bigger worm, and but the colors were so cool, and that's what really attracted me back then. And then I just transitioned out of that to the ball pythons, and I've never looked back. So
nice, cool. So when you transitioned over into the ball pythons, was it just going to be like a pet keeping venture and just have several ball pythons, or did you have the mentality, I want to breed, I want to make this like a breeding hobby or a breeding business?
Not to the extent, like, I'm still blown away of where I'm at now and where I was 5 years ago, and even 5 years. It's crazy, and I'm afraid to see where 5 more years is going to take me, and what I'm gonna. It's just nuts. But I wanted to breed because I liked what was going on. I wanted to try it, and learning about, back then, breeding and you could turn it into a little side business and invest in it. I was like, yeah, let me give it a try. And then failing for so many years, and it's like, man, this sucks. I've got to be doing something wrong. And you couldn't turn to the internet and have a Patreon or videos. Hey, this is how you breed. It was none of that. It was pre.
What year was this? About roundabouts?
1996,
okay,
1998.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that's when I bought my first. I think it was a pastel in 2002, 2003. So, back then there was normals. I got a bunch of het pies and het albinos. I don't think even clown even existed. This is like pre-clown, or at least we never heard of clown. Maybe someone brought it in from the wild and we're trying to prove it out, but you didn't see that. You saw the recessive stuff, and this was like before pastel and spider and cinnamon and all the old time genes.
So, I heard when clown first came out, they didn't think it was genetic. There was articles out there that were saying it was probably not genetic.
Yeah, it was crazy. And any new morph that came out, any new gene, we were just like, oh my God. And then we didn't even realize, the genetic capabilities of making it. Because I remember when someone took a spider and put it to a damn pastel and made the bumblebee. Man, it rocked the earth. Like, we were going, oh my God, you see the bumblebee? And we didn't care about the wobble, even though it was there. Like, it was just like, oh my God, it's so cool. The color, what we can create. And then, the killer bee. Oh my God, it was nuts. And then Pinstripe came and started making it. And then, do you know what the pewter is? Oh my God, it's crazy. Greg Graziani and stuff doing the stuff down there. It was just insane. It's like now, when Justin or someone makes this crazy combo, we're like, oh my God, mind blowing. I can't believe we can do this. That's how it was when they were making bumblebees, man, and lemon blast. It was nuts. But it's just crazy.
Yeah, because the excitement is all the same. You know what I'm saying? It's something new, it's something you've never seen. It's crazy. Like, it's mind blowing. Like, it's cutting edge. Like, and at that time, that's what was cutting edge. Everyone hadn't seen it.
Yep. It's pretty nuts, man. And that's the thing. Like, I still get excited over stuff just like I did back then when a new gene came. Now it's not just a new gene, it's a new combo, because we don't really get to see, new genes. That's they come out here and there, but a lot of people are trying to prove them out and market it properly and see what the capabilities of and get ahead of it before they sort of release it or, let people sort of get into the project. But now it's combos. Like, wow, man, like, look at this. Wow. And we're all trying to work towards that.
Yeah.
So I love it, man. There's no end to it. And, you get blown away every year, especially if you're growing your collection and you're putting in for the long game, which is, to me, it's the only way,
Yeah, I agree 100%.
It's the only way to go. People, there's more than one way to breed ball pythons. There's more, some people want to do things a certain way. Not everybody wants to be a big breeder. Not everybody wants to have, 40, 50 clutches. Some people are happy with 10 or 20, whatever works for you. But the sky is the limit. I mean, you got Mike Wilbanks doing 2,000-3,000 clutches a year, man.
He pushes out a lot.
Like, super next level, man. Like, it's crazy, But that's what he loves and it's what he does. And it's just, everyone has their own, position that they want to be in.
So speaking of collections, let's talk about collection foundations a little bit. So let's talk about it from like the ground up. Let's talk about how like maybe a new breeder getting into the game. How should they build their collection? Like, what's the best strategy for that?
Well, it depends. Like, that's the thing. Like, obviously I have a Patreon and, we do a lot of Q&As every couple of weeks, and I'm trying to give as much information and guide people the best way. Now, the one thing I like about the Patreon is I usually do one-on-ones with a lot of the people, especially on the higher tiers. The reason being is if you don't have the space, you don't have the time, you don't have the budget, it's a different story for every person. I can't, hey, Billy, I want to get into Desert Ghost. Okay, well, what do you have? I got $5,000. Okay, you have any animals with DG or no, none. Okay, That's a different conversation than someone's like, hey, Billy, I got 50,000 to invest. And I want to do DG or Pi DG or Clown DG, but it has to have DG as a base. And I've already got this, and this in my collection.
Sure.
Two different separate advice. And if it's the same, it's crock of shit. You know, it really is. Like,
straight up.
You know, if I'm going to give somebody $50,000 and a bunch of animals already in the project, the same advice as somebody with nothing starting off with $5,000, bad advice for both people. So I like to tell people, one, you know, breed what you love. You know, you hear it all the time, but it's true.
Yeah, you got to be happy to look at it when you open up those tubs. Man,
and stick with it. You know, like, I mean, I've been working with Freeway now. This is my 13th year coming up. And I'm still hitting mad stuff. Like the Freeway clown stuff, you know, is coming out. Like, I mean, it's mind blowing. Yeah. And we're just scratching the surface. But I mean, the super asphalt combos I'm hitting, and it's amazing. And like I said, I mean, I'm going to be doing that for, you know, years and years, even for the next 10 years. So there's 22, 23 years I'm working on one project that's elevating me, my collection and my passion further and further. And other people are giving me, you know, inspiration and ideas, you know, with combos that I don't have, and go, wow, that's crazy. So you really want to work with something that you enjoy, that you love, and you want to do it where you hear it all the time. You know, you want to buy 2 or 3 females minimum for each male. Always get your females, you know, at least a year before you purchase the male. And, you know, try to get the genetics in the male that you want to have in that breeding program. So if you don't want champagne in every single clutch, don't put it in a male. Because if you breed a champagne male combo, chances are you getting it into every single female that he breeds is pretty highly, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, but if you want to work with champagne on a low scale, even spider or some of these other genetics, put it in a female. If you want to work with it more, get a couple more females with the genetic in it. But I believe that if you work on smaller groups, 1 male to 2 or 3 females or 4, and you keep doing that and keep repeating it the same way, you're going to do well. It's where people get 2 of this and 1 of this and 5 of this. I got this gene. Yeah, but what are you doing with it? You've got, oh, I got sunset. What do you have? Oh, I got this sunset female. Cool. What else you got? Nothing. What are you going to, I don't know. Well, you're definitely not making sunsets because you don't have anything else to put to the sunset. Like,
true.
You know, when I say, oh, I'm into sunset, it's like I got 5 females, 2 males. I got some double hets, and that's being in a project, not just having an animal. Oh, I got some hurricane. What do you got? Oh, I got a pastel yellow belly hurricane male. Okay, so that means you got the genetic. You're just not, it's not planned. You know, people say it's like, hey, Billy, what do you got for pieds? I don't know, but when I type in my Husbandry Pro, Google pied, anything pied, het pied, 50 or 66% het pied, I got over 500 animals with that in it. Damn. Clown, I got over 600. Yellow belly, I probably have 700 animals with it. Yeah, I'm in the project.
Yeah, you're definitely in the project.
I'm definitely in the project, So you really want to be strong and stuff in a project and push it. I'd rather have a stable base and keep building than having a little bit of this and all over the place and never pushing it to its full potential. You're just scratching the surface of each. You want to, build something strong. And that's worked best for me, right? I basically give advice on what's worked for me and what hasn't worked, because I've done a lot to get here and I'm still learning. I'm still doing stuff.
True. So like with high-end codoms, let's say, let's just use Stranger as an example. You got any like tips and tricks or advice about getting those high-end codoms?
Well, it depends what your goals are, right? So, if you're going to get, to me, I think, and I can say this and be very confident, I really think that every animal in your collection should be at least recessive or het for some recessive. Okay. So if you want a 2, 3, 4 gene, awesome looking snake, it should be het for something, or it should be visual minimum. Or, then you go to the next level. 2-3 gene pied het for something. And then, 2-3 gene pied double het for something. Like you got to keep, going up that stairwell. It's a long flight, but you got to keep walking up step by step. It's not all going to happen overnight. But if you definitely don't want to be when people are on the third floor having attempts of making these incredible animals where the whole industry is going. You don't want to be on the ground floor going, shit, I should have walked up with them. I should have started. Well, now is a good time to start, but you're 3 floors behind.
Yeah.
But, you better keep starting because they're going to be on the 5th or 6th floor when you get to the 3rd. But it's better to get to the 3rd than keep staying on the bottom. So you really have to think long term. And anything good doesn't happen fast. Like, I'm hitting shit now that I'm like, wow, but I started the project in 2017 and I missed in 19 and 20. And now I'm reaping the rewards by putting in that time and holding stuff back and purchasing other animals to help that project grow and help me with better odds. So I'm reaping the rewards now, but I had to put the work and the time in, man. I mean, it's not just, 100%. I want to make this 2 animals together. Oh, look, he made it. No, it's if you don't have the right shit, you ain't making the right shit. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And there's no corners. We can't just sit there and go magically be het pied.
You can't control it. You can't control the odds.
Put the work in, man. So
you got to put the work in 100%. Yeah, I know for me, Stranger is one of the genes I want to get in. That's why I ask people about it a lot. I probably just need to go and bite the bullet and do it instead of waiting because everyone's gonna be like on the 9th, 10th floor, and I'm gonna be just trying to get in. But for me, I know I want to like working into some recessive stuff, like double recessive stuff specifically. And so that's how I'm going to strategize my way into it because I really want to see it in like the Ultra Clown project. I think it'll be dope. So that's why I
I love that music to my ears. Listening, his ears are like going, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It is, man. I really love the project. There's a lot of stuff being made. There's a lot of stuff that's been made that I don't think people have shown yet, but I definitely do think it's, well, at least for me, it's something that really lights my eyes up. I'm excited. I invested heavily into it. I want to see what's coming, and it excites me. So if anyone else doesn't like it, I'm not trying to do this for somebody. When people say, well, you're just doing this for the money. Well, why am I making the good shit and not even selling it? Like, I was in it for the money. I was just doing it for the money. And then why am I buying all this cool high-end shit? If someone's in it for the money, why are they buying shit to hold, to make shit to hold, to keep doing that? So 3 to 5 years down the road, if I'm in it for the money, I could be making way more now and just selling everything I produce. But, and I'll do well. Like I'll do stupid well. But in 2 or 3 years, I'm going to feel how stupid I am for, my business is up, and every year now it just takes a landslide. Bam. Right. Oh, how do I get back up? Start all over, dummy. You're back on the ground floor. Everyone's on the 3rd. Ah, shit.
Yeah, you gave him the alley-oop too.
It's crazy. Like, I make amazing stuff, and I sell the stuff that I don't want or I have too much of. What does everybody want? The stuff that I'm holding back. That's what sells, man. The high-end stuff sells like crazy. It sells faster than the low-end stuff. And people don't believe that.
Yeah, the higher end stuff sells quick. Like I noticed in the morph market, like I'll put stuff in my favorites, and it'll be like some nice stuff, and it'll be gone. And then like some other
2 days later to see if it's still there. Yeah,
it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
But then like some other stuff that's like maybe lower end to mid tier, it'll sit there for a while.
Yep. But the thing is everyone has their tier, right? People have to buy in within their budget. But if you're buying some decent, low end to mid end stuff, you get that, put it in your rack, grow it up for a couple years. Then you go get a powerhouse male or something that's, equivalent or better. You're still going to do awesome, but your odds are against you for hitting multiple, especially if you're into the double het. If you're breeding double het to double het, you're 1 in 16 to hit the double visual. But if you do a pied het, say pied het lav to a lav het pied, now you're 1 in 4. But you had to spend more money to get those 2 instead of the double hets, right? So by spending more, you're cutting time and you're getting better odds for yourself.
Right.
So, you got to pay to play. Like it really does.
Yeah.
But you don't, I'll never make anything or do well because I don't have money. That's bullshit. It's just going to take you longer.
Yeah. You got to either have time or money.
Yeah, guess what? Like, how do you think the dreamsicle came to be? They didn't just get a dreamsicle, breed it to an animal, they made fucking double hets. And then they raised and missed and did this and one and like, I mean, that's how it all started. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Why isn't there like a whole bunch of monsoon clowns and monsoon pieds available? Because we're making double hets and we got to hit the 1 in 16 odds. That's the
right.
only
It's hard
way
to make them.
Gonna happen. Yeah. And I mean, stuff like that ain't going to be cheap for the next 5 years because the supply is never going to meet the demand. And we're all chasing it. And we're all playing with 1 in 16 for fuck's sakes. It's not an easy game to play. 1 in 4 is a lot easier. Eventually 1 in 2 and 1 to 1, man, cool. But you got to get there, man. And you can't get there by, not holding back and not, shooting for the long game. You got to play the long game to do this well.
So are you shifting your focus primarily to like double and recessive projects?
Even quads.
Even quads? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Austin just, don't tell anybody. I don't know. I'm he's going to shoot me if it's too late. Sorry, Austin. I already told him, but he just had a quad het to quad het pairing, like a multiple gene quad het to quad het.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah.
What are the odds of hitting the quad on the quad het to quad het?
Isn't it 1 in 256 or 1 in 128? It's high.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance.
But when you do quad het to quad het, you're 1 in 4 to hit a double visual,
right?
Instead of 1 in 16. But you just don't know what double visual. But it looks like you hit 1, if not 2, triple visuals, which will be 66% het. And they're bangers. It's pretty nice. It's neat.
So you think the genetic testing, you think that'll change your strategy any? In terms of like your parents and whatnot?
100%. It's definitely, when I got involved like 5 or 6 years ago, up here in Canada, sending my sheds in, it was definitely where it is to this day. It's definitely gonna, definitely help out, especially breeders and, people wanting to purchase 100% hets with someone that's paid for the genetic testing. I think that'll help save people because we're always going to be chasing some stuff. And I think it's going to be years and years before we have all the different genetics to test. I know up here, we've got about 15 to 20 genetics that we're this close to basically having, as well as the 4 or 5 that are available now.
Okay.
So it's a process. It's a long game, but
so where are you sending your stuff to get tested at?
Well, because we're in Canada, we can't ship to the United States and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have. I mean, I don't know if we want to make it into a business up here. I'm not sure. I'm going to talk and see how we go about it, but it's not easy to find where these genes sit, on the, or how to sequence it, how to find the actual genetics,
mm-hmm.
Or the allele or whatever the technical term is. It took 3 or 4 years to find pied. I'm pretty sure they have clown in the US. Now up here, we found it. We're just tweaking it to make sure. But now that doesn't say that there's not different types of clown. That's what they're saying. Like, it could be that it could be sitting different spots. Like, I don't know the technical or the biological term or anything like that. I'm just like, oh, cool, you can do that. Cool. It's like, oh, and they start talking all scientific. And I'm like, I don't know. Speak to me in English. Like, I have no idea all these fancy, awesome words. And, it sounds cool. I just don't understand it. But there's a long way. It's not easy. It's expensive. It's a lot of time. So who knows when this is going to be in full effect. So I don't really know how we're going to get involved up here. I have a bunch of het pieds, or hopefully they prove out to be het pieds. I've got a lot of them in, and I should be getting the results back, I think, next week. But we don't have a company up here that does it yet. I don't know if we're going to start one, but if we do, all of Canada would have to come to us because we're the only ones,
Right.
And I believe, you guys wouldn't have pied, or these other genetics testing companies wouldn't have pied if it wasn't for the work of, Alan, and he's the geneticist out of McGill that discovered it. Okay. And then, once they discover it, they release it.
So they're sharing it between each other.
So, like I said, I don't know what's happening with these other 20. Maybe, hey, guess what? We'll release those in a year and a half or 2 years down the road. And anyone in Canada can use our service and get 25, animals or 25 different genetics tested here in Canada, while in the States, you can only do 5. I don't know how it's going to work, but once they release the sequencing and I guess the primer that's needed to find it, or like I said, I don't know the technical term. Once that's released, anybody that knows how to do it can do it with this machine.
Gotcha.
So
you think at some point the genetic testing will completely get rid of the POS het market?
I think it should. Now, if people don't want to pay for 100% het because it's guaranteed all, then take a chance. And waste the time, because we all know as breeders that has had to put that work in. I mean, even not even with het pieds. I've had asphalt / yellow belly for 7 years. I have to prove it out, and then it's like, shit, I got all these animals. Do I waste my super asphalt male and put it to prove some stuff out? And if I'm wrong, I'm going to get more freeway shit that I'm already making. Or do I put the super asphalt into combo clowns and combo pieds for my future? You already know the answer, man. It's going to the future.
Exactly.
So now I'm putting some other stuff like, to try to prove stuff out, because I ain't wasting my golden, beautiful animals to try to prove stuff out. I'm using it to push my collection and my projects to another level into different things, Do
they have the yellow belly test in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like yellow belly, asphalt, hypo, clown. What else have I been sending? I've been sending sheds in for 6 years. Like thousands. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, pastel, orange dream. Like, so, basically, if everything goes well in the next 5-6 months, I can send in an animal and they can tell me if any of those 20 genes are in.
Nice.
Where... I don't know if they're going to release what they find, or I really don't know. That's why I'm trying to get a phone call and say, hey, what's going on here? Because, nobody would be able to find pied now if it wasn't for their work, because they released it and published it. So if they didn't publish it and they didn't do it at all, it might be another 4 years or 3 years, like until somebody else found it. I don't know exactly how difficult it is. But I know if it took 3 or 4 years to find pied, and now they're 4 or 5 years to finally get clown. I mean, it's not like they can get one in a week. I mean, it's a lot of time, money, testing. So
yeah, I would love to like
going towards the right direction, but it could be another 3 to 5 years. It'd be nice to say, hey, I got this white snake that could be 7 different genes. Here's a piece of shed, and they're like, oh, this is what it is. That'd be mind blowing. We could be 5, 10, 20 years away from that. And then what's the cost? We have no idea yet, right? So it's definitely something that, it'll be interesting how it plays out. And I know there's probably going to be, more people getting into the genetic testing. It's not like, I guess his name's Ben. I don't know, the one that's linked up with Morph Market. He's the one doing it in the US. There's another guy doing it in the States. There could be 40 on the block next week if they had the machine and know how to do it.
Right.
So they're not discovering the genetics. They're using the what's been published in order to find it. So, there could be many different people doing this down the road. I don't know, and then I don't know. But I do think it's good for breeders, and then for people buying animals, especially that want to invest, because if you're doing quad het to quad het, you're going to hit a lot of double visuals that are 66% possible double het. And in the past, you start breeding those two together. Oh, I just missed. 7 years later, it's like, oh shit, it didn't prove out. Well, you spent 7 years of making a bunch of shit that you still don't know what it is.
Right.
It's all possible this, and it'd be so much easier to know.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Oh, this is a double visual double het for these two, and this is the same. Oh, now I put it together, and now my chances are 1 in 16 to hit the quad. That's the game.
Yeah. That's what I think the biggest benefit is, obviously, with knowing, but then the other side of knowing is you're not having to do pairings on a hope and a prayer. And so you're not producing like all this excess that you otherwise would not have produced just because you're having to guess and say, is it hit? Is it hit? You don't have to prove it out. You know, and so you can strategically
breed. And if you don't hit, it's just because you had some shitty odds, you know?
Exactly.
And one thing we can't change is the odds.
Exactly.
You know, oh, I'm 1 in 4, you know, and you hit, yay. If you miss, it's like, man, I got screwed. But hey, there's next year because at least you know what the genetics are. So it's not going to take the fun out of it. It's not going to change the odds. We still have to put in the work, put in the time, and breed and hope the odds are in our favor. You know? So I think it's a good thing for the industry. I really do.
Are you buying a bunch of snakes still, or are you just pretty much producing most of what you breed?
No, I mean, I am. I mean, I'm always out there looking for the right one. I just bought a pastel leopard ultramel clown male, another one. Yeah, so I'm going heavy in that game. What else do I got? I got some big bangers. You know, I got some heavy hitters coming in.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm excited. I can't produce everything, and when I miss, and I tell this to people too, if I'm trying to hit something, and it's like, oh, come on, be a male, and I sex it, it's like I hit it, yes, damn, it's a female. I needed the male, and if I see one, it's gonna save me a year or two, because I'm not even guaranteed next year she's gonna breed again, or that same pairing, or what happens if I miss, or she slugs out. Or I get another female. Now I'm fucking 2 years behind, where if I bought that male, he would have been breeding. So it depends on how fast you want to keep pushing your projects. Sometimes, I mean, I've waited 2-3 years, and I just kept hitting females. You know, like with my freeway clowns. I've got 7 females. Missed male, no male. Now I hit 2 this year. Thank God. You know, it's like, wow, finally. But 7, and then it took me 3 years to hit my first one. You know, so I mean, it's a 5-6 year game right now, and I finally hit 2 males this year. But I mean, the stuff that I'm going to be cranking out now is going to be you know, more power and more genetics, and my odds will be you know, 1 in 2 and 1 in 4 instead of 1 in 16, 1 in 8, 1 in 32. So it's a lot better for me. You know, moving forward, holding stuff back. I just proved out an Enchi freeway, 66% het clown. She's het clown. And a pastel leopard freeway, 66% het clown. She proved out to be het clown.
Nice.
So, damn. So now I can put some of those power males to that. And now I'm like, wow, man, I'm going to be cranking out like 1 every 2 eggs as a freeway clown. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Like 7 years later, you know, but it's definitely worth it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But so how many clutches are you cranking out this year? Like, what is it looking like?
So the ones that were basically bred and laid this year so far, we have 150.
Okay.
I believe there was about 29 that hatched in 2011. I mean, 2011. Fuck, am I going back? 2022. You know, but they were bred, you know, November, December, but they laid. So we put those as 21/22, so that we know we bred them in 21 and they laid in 22, because you can't really have that as a 2021. It's like, holy shit, Billy, you know. A 2021 and she's only, you know, 200 grams. It's like, well, she was born in February, you know, but why is it 2021? It should be 2022. Yeah, you're right. So how we distinguish it, we have all 2021s. Then we have 21/22, which means we bred them in, you know, October, November, December, but they laid in January, February, March. And then anything else that was, bred and laid in 2021, 2022 is a 2022. So now we're we should have another 20 or 30 clutches out by the end of this year.
Okay.
Maybe even 40. And then we're going to have, because we're still pairing like, 40, 50, 60 animals right now. So we're going to have a bunch of, 22/23s and then right into all the 23s. So,
gotcha. So that's a bunch of clutches. I know. So for me this year, obviously way smaller than y'all, but so we got 10, and so that's going to be like our biggest year.
Awesome. How many was last year?
Last year was just 1, so that's really a big jump.
10 times
from 1 to 10, that's a big jump.
How many are you expecting for next year, if all goes well?
It depends on how many pairings I do. Right now, I'm looking through trying to figure out like what pairings I'm going to do, because I may pair less, just because some of the females that I got or some of the pairings that I do, it's not going to produce like the higher stuff, and so I may hold off on some of that, just kind of like looking at the animals that are moving, because I don't want to have like too many and like overload myself and not be able to move the animals. I kind of want to take more of a slower role in it, and so I want to focus mainly on like the higher end stuff. So we'll probably do like 10 to 15 clutches next year. We'll see how it goes, but
that's the same thing. I mean, that's smart. That's actually very smart, because you figure someone who's just went from 1 to 10, they're like, fucking, I'm going to smash it and do 40. Like, I just want to breed and make shit. Fucking smart. Good advice. I've actually, I've taken about 70 females out of my breeding rack after they laid this year and moved them. I don't need this. And we just went through, we're actually today, me and Austin, just before, we left today, we were going through and doing our 2023 on Husbandry Pro. So on Husbandry Pro, you can actually preset your breeding plans and put everything in. Right. So we went in and put all the males in, and Austin go like, no, we don't need this, sell it. You don't need this pastel super orange dream clown breeder male. We don't need it anymore. We've been breeding it for 5 years. We don't need it. Okay. So we're going through and putting all this stuff in the system. And in the one rack alone, there was 22 breeder males that we can sell. So it's like, oh, awesome. So,
22 breeder males you can sell?
Yeah, in the one rack.
Okay.
Like pastel super orange dream clown. What else? There's just some crazy stuff, but I have so much of it, and there's different projects, because what I did last year is different from what I did this year and then what next year, except there's a few projects that I keep building on to catch up or to get better or stronger in it. But I made a whole bunch of like orange dream, Enchi, cypress, Mojave, yellow belly, hypos. I don't want, I've got like maybe, with that and, the genes, like, orange dream, cypress, Enchi, hypo, Mojave, orange dream, Enchi, yellow belly, hypo without the cypress. Like I've got probably 30 or 40 animals like that, and I've got some from last year and some from this year. I don't need to keep making that, especially, when I've got so many. Like you can only do so many and so much with those genetics, especially when you can't put Mojave to Mojave, you're sort of limited. So now I've done that for 2 years. I've got some stuff a year old. I've got some stuff that just hatched. Now I can move it off and get into something else that complements that down the road, or put that right into my 3, 4, 5 gene hypo clowns. Breed that to the hypo. Now I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gene hypo, 100% het clown stuff. Who knows, right? Or put it into the pied, or, take, if I'm ever lucky and I hit a monsoon pied, and it's a male, when they're ready, now I can put that to an orange dream, Enchi, Mojave, cypress, yellow belly, hypo. And now I'm making 3, 4, 5 gene triple hets. Like it's not
crazy. That's nuts.
There's no right direction, and there's not just one. There's so many ways to go, and it's hard because sometimes we're sitting there doing a pairing, and it's like, oh, what's better? Let's just do this for now. And then you should always see if there's something better, or when I do a breeding plan, it's not in stone at all, man. It's when we used to do it on pen and paper. We would have to rewrite that paper. We'd print it off, and then we'd like scratch it out and move it with arrows. No, this female here goes down here, or this male here, let's do this. and it looks so horrible. We have to reprint it with all the new changes. And we did that 4 or 5 times over a breeding season, you know? And it's nuts. Well, at least now you can just go in Husbandry Pro and hide it or just add and delete. And it's so much easier.
Oh, yeah. Husbandry Pro is like, it's the best one I've used. I tried a couple other ones before Husbandry Pro, and I also did Excel because I do a lot of things in Excel. But Husbandry Pro, like,
that's how I used to do everything. Excel.
It shines.
But yeah, Husbandry Pro is awesome. I mean, it's it's been a lifesaver for me just to be knowing what I have in my collection, what I'm doing, where it went, where I sold it. It's been so, especially for the hatchlings. Knowing where the lineage came from and converting them into animals and putting in the ID and doing a search. There's a lot more stuff coming, but super happy with it. And I'm glad that, Robert, who's my partner in that, they said to me, it's like, hey, you know what? We want to put it out and get people's, feedback. Because there's stuff out there. Even now, we have a message or a suggestion board, and I talked to Robert the other day, and he's like, "Dude, man, it's like some of the fucking people's ideas are just like it's crazy. I would never have thought of that, or maybe we would have stumbled upon it like 5 or 6 months from now." But I mean, like, I'm just looking at some of the suggestions, and they're like, "Wow, man, like that's awesome. Let's work on it." And that's what's cool. I mean, this isn't just something that a designer or a web guy built and said, here you go, this is what you get, and hope you're happy with it because that's all you get. Or it's not me trying to, I got to start making this better so people like it. I don't have time to really work on the app. When I find something, it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong? What would be easier? Let's put in a ticket, and say, hey, man, this would make it easier. And they'd work on it. Well, what's good about it is why should I be the only one trying to make the app better? And it's great because you see so many people putting, comments on. It's like, man, I'm so happy with the team. I put a suggestion in and fucking 2-3 days later, it's fixed, or within a week, man, I feel great. And it's like, sorry about my dog barking.
It's all good. I got 2 German Shepherds, so you might hear them at any given moment.
Relax. So
what kind of dog?
Great because it's he's half husky, half oh my God, I always a staff. So half staff and half. You'll probably see him. He usually pops in here. There's this couch behind me. He just chills, or he'll come and try to bug me. So
they definitely got to make a cameo.
Yeah, but what I do like that people are using an app, and if they have a suggestion or find something that like myself or my partner would not come up with, or not, because I'm not using it like to the extent of what it could be used. Like, eventually I'm learning more and more, but why should I be the only one or someone else trying to make something better when everyone else's opinion, would this be good? And the app is so great now, and there's so many cool features. I'm like, that's amazing. It's, most of the stuff came from users putting in an input. So I'm
like the quick access bar at the bottom.
Yeah, that came in.
I have
no idea I have no idea who said, who would be good, but whoever did that, I mean, that's one of the things that I was like, oh man, I love this new feature. Don't look at me, man. It could have been my partner too. I don't know, but I would guess 90% of the updates and the stuff that is there that makes Husbandry Pro better and smoother and more, more useful for all of us is from the users, man. I mean, it's awesome because, me being a big breeder, there's going to be a lot of shit that I don't do because I'm too busy to do all that stuff where, someone with, 10 clutches might want to record certain things, or, hey, this is a thing that I do because I have a small manageable collection, that's amazing. But I would never have come up with that because I'm way past that. But this isn't just for me. This is for everybody. And it's not just for ball pythons, even though it's really based for ball pythons. It's an app that, it's changing for other people, other species, people that do leopard geckos and stuff like that. They're putting in their own thing. So it's just it's an app that's great because it's growing because of the users, and a lot more stuff's coming too. So it's, and we're always upgrading, and it's, something that, even from the beginning, I was told that, hey, this app is going to always be changing and being modified. I'm like, for the better? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, let it roll.
That's a great thing. Like every time you log in, like you see that there's something that changed that's new and made it better. It's like, oh man, yeah, I love it.
I don't know how they do it, man. They're fucking working on it like all the time, man. It's awesome.
And then the interface is dope too. That's big for me. Like what the interface looks like and kind of feels like.
And you know how you can change it too, right? Like you can change it from light and dark, and you can move the, you know, it's pretty cool. You can modify it, and it's all fully customizable. And I mean, that's something that Robert wanted from the beginning, to make it where I like it this way, you know, and even for us, like when we came up with the users, you know, Catherine likes hers a different way. So when she's using hers or Austin's using his, it doesn't have to be the way I want it. Oh, it's my app. It's my facility. I want it to be like this. No, everybody can customize their own access. So when I go on my Husbandry Pro, it's light. When Kat goes on hers, it's dark. It's awesome. It's customizable per the user.
That's
phenomenal. Dope. I love it. I just love it. Let's stop talking about it because it's a fucking infomercial. But I do love it, man. It's phenomenal. So and more stuff's coming. It's you've seen it, man. It's got better and better, and it's the only way it's going. So
100%. So you did mention being super busy, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was time management. So can you give us like some
I shit the bed on that all the time.
Say again.
I shit the bed on that all the time, man. I have people messaging me, hey man, can you send me a list? Yeah. And it's like a week later, it's like, have you gone on that list? And I'm like, fuck, I totally forgot. That's one thing that you don't expect. You don't, I never planned on how busy I would be, how many emails I would get, how much time I have to put into Patreon and do this and phone calls and sales. And it's crazy. You know, we just put, 15, yeah, maybe about 175 animals away in the last 4 days from clutches, you know?
Wow.
And it's just, wow, you got to get that. You got to put it in. We do the video on some of them, some of them are just, you know what? It's not even, we don't have time to film all of them. Right. We got shitty odds. Let's just put the good stuff up. And, here's the crazy, the 3 clown hypo combos that we've made. Like, let's do these clutches and let's do the freeway clown that we hit. Like, let's do all these ones. And the other ones, we still got to put them away. You got to clean tubs, get the cocoa ready, pour the water in, ID them, transfer them from, Husbandry Pro into animals from eggs, and type in all the IDs and sex them. And holy shit, there's an 8-hour day right there. And we've only got half of them done. So it's something where, one thing I will say, and we try to do it, but it's still not the best, is schedule yourself. You know how you always feed on a certain day?
Right.
Feeding day is, say, Saturday. Cool. Every Saturday or every second Saturday how you feed. This is what you do. If you let that slide and you don't be constant, guess what? Oh, when did I feed last? I think it was, I don't know. And then it just fucking, it lets go. Then you're not feeding enough. It throws everything off.
That shit compounds.
Oh, damn, man. We feed on a certain day. We ultrasound on a certain day. We clean on these certain days for this room, this for that room. This is when, and then there's filming where we film. It all depends off if the clutches have hatched or if we can cut. So we got to throw that in, answering emails. I'm slacking. Time management is something that I'm still trying to learn and work on. But one thing I do is, there's people pissed at me and people that don't understand. There's people that are saying, hey, Billy, I want to buy a snake. Can you get me a picture? Can you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And I don't get back to them for 2 or 3 days because I'm not running my time properly, or I need to hire someone else, or I'm working on that. But what does get done before my sales? My animals are clean. They get ultrasounded. They're fed. They're looked after. Bills are paid. Things done. That's my priority. Sales are next. But I shouldn't have stuff like that because there's people out there that want to buy my animals. and I don't get back to them in a time, because I had somebody message me, and I had a big long weekend, and I get back to them on the Monday, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's like, oh, sorry, Billy. I bought this from this other person yesterday because I didn't hear back from you. It sucks, but hey, man, it's my fault. And we can all be better at everything, but that's something that I'm really slacking on, is time management. We get the important stuff done, but why should my snake sales be at the bottom? Like, why can't everything be done properly at the same time? And hiring someone's got to be a good fit. It's not just just hire someone.
You can't just bring anybody in off the street.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I brought in a social media manager who does my Instagram and stuff, and she's doing an amazing job, and it gives me more free time. Well, fuck that free time. I'm still behind, man. It never ends, man. And one thing I am doing is I am sort of pulling it back down. I'm not going to do as many clutches. They're just going to be more powerful.
Okay.
And I do have some so I do have some interest in some companies in the US already. So I do have ownership of some companies in the US that are breeding snakes.
Okay.
So I've reached out to some people that I've worked with that I like, and I know how they work and their ethics and everything else. And I'm like, hey man, let's do something. So, I'm working with people behind the scenes. No one needs to know who I want them to work and do what they're doing and get all the credit, because it's their work. Just because I'm helping them with animals, or I've sent them some stuff and help put animals and money into a business. They're running it because I'm running my own. I want them to get full credit, and I'm not there. I'm having a hard time running my own damn business, trying to do what I got to do in all the breedings. I don't want other people saying, hey, you know what, I want you to do this. No, you know what, here it is, roll with it. I trust you. Go. I know what you've done with what you've done. Now let me give you this. Now roll. And all the credit.
You're not micromanaging them.
Oh, dude. I'm pretty much like that here, but it's like I can't even manage myself, for Christ's sakes. I'm all over the place. But time management is very important. And like I was saying when we talked earlier about your app, it's like, oh, I got to look into something like this, and I just need the time to look into it and get working it. But it's definitely something that you will see is crucial. But you really, if I put my sales and I concentrated on that, oh yeah, but now my breeding declines, the health of my animals decline. We're all over the place, not knowing what's going on in every room. So I know what goes on in every room because everybody handles their own room. So because of the schedule, we can sort of get a good grasp of what's going on. And then when other stuff comes in a weekend or shipping week, or we have an expo, that throws a big wrench into that, that nice schedule, because now, it switches it up for that weekend. But I'm definitely trying to work on it and get better. But I know I'm slacking, and that's a big thing. If you have hundreds of breeder females and you're only getting 20 of them to breed a year, you got to look at yourself and find out why. You got to know that there's a problem and fix it. And that's one thing. When I sort of at the beginning of the year said I got to stop doing social media for a bit, and hired the social media manager, stopped doing the Mondays, I was running myself thin, and I still am now. And I have more, it's crazy. So you got to realize there's a problem in order to fix it. If you don't think there's a problem, why would you fix something? Yeah. And I know there's some issues that I've got to deal with, like my time management and stuff. And, it's not a quick fix, but I will come to the bottom of it. And then I can share, because, some people are going to message me, even through Patreon down the road, say, hey, Billy, we've done this, we've grown, look where we are now. Man, I'm having this problem. I'm like, oh, believe me, I know. I've had that for years. Here's how I fixed it. Or here's what I did. And here's something I wouldn't suggest, So my journey can help other people's at some point. So you missed those Mondays, Chad. I think it will come back just a different way.
The Mondays are dope. So
who knows? You never know. Never say never. But one thing is you got to find out there's a problem, And if you know and you can see and open your eyes up and admit it, fix the problem, you know? So, because you ain't going to fix something you don't think is broke.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you definitely got to acknowledge it before you can even begin to work on it.
100%.
Cool. So, I want to jump a little bit into breeding. I don't want to get super deep into it, but I just want you to kind of give an overview of your process and kind of some of the things you've learned over the years in terms of what works, what doesn't work.
For breeding? Yeah,
for breeding and pairing and whatnot.
Okay, well, number one things, 2 males will not give you eggs. I wanted you to spit the water out. I'm like, oh, shit, do it again. I'm spitting out the water. There we go. After a big sip of water. Fuck. It's like, yeah, here you go. Yeah, 2 males will not give you eggs. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And not like I've purposely tried, but I think most of us have grown up that female that's breeding size now, and you put a male in, it's like, why are they fighting? Oh, because that male, that female is now a male. It's like, damn. No, I never got eggs last year. Yeah.
I got a 2,300 plus gram banana Motley B female.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, put a male in there, heard some rumbling.
Yeah, it happens, man. And it happens to the best of us, right? And it's we do a lot of things now, like, when they first shed, we sex them. We usually sex them again. Because, once we sex them and put them into Husbandry Pro as the gender, we leave them. And then once we get them some food in them and we know I'm going to sell them, or if I'm going to hold them or hold them back, I'll resex them. Because, 2-3 months is you can make mistakes. And I've seen it all the time where, holy shit, that's a male. Damn it, I thought it was a female, or vice versa. So we do that. And then also when someone inquires on Morph Market now about an animal that I have listed that I've probably checked 3 times, I'll go there and look and pop it again just to make sure, so.
Yeah, I always second guess like my sexing, just because I haven't been doing it that long. So I'll always second guess it, and I'll sex them like several times to verify.
Yep. Well, one thing, and I swear by it on my Patreon, and I'll say it on any live, I think if you're going to breed, 10 or 15 or 20 more females a year, especially if you don't have much experience and you're investing a lot of money in these animals, you don't want to not benefit from them breeding, especially without the knowledge or the experience. Like, oh, let me keep pairing now for 6 months and, I haven't got anything. Well, she's starting to build now, but the male's so tired and he's not eating now and he's got no semen left because, hopefully she retains the sperm or you ain't going to get a clutch. But so many people ask me, how do I know when to breed? How do I know if she's gravid? How do I know when to pair? The ultrasound takes that all away. You it's
and there's a lifesaver for me.
There's people that say, oh, you don't need one. No, you don't. You don't need one. But, I can, I drive to work in my nice big lifted truck, listening to music, heated seats, heated steering wheel, whatever the hell I want. I get there in 30 minutes. I don't need to. I can walk for 4 fucking hours, but I'll tell you, it's nicer to drive the fucking truck. I don't need it to get there, but damn, or I can take an Uber, I can take a skateboard, I can take a bike, I can do whatever.
It's nice as hell to have, though.
Nice as yeah. So with the ultrasound, man, it's a lifesaver. I swear by it. It is expensive. It's like a $2,500 piece of equipment. You can get cheaper ones. I don't know about those, but the ones that I have, like on Patreon, I get a discount, for about $700-800 to $1,000 off the ones that everybody uses from Breeder Circle. So, that's a bonus on the Patreon. You get access to discounts on stuff and other things. But I swear by them. And, when people invest in that, they learn quicker. Oh, is she gravid? Oh, should I pair? I think she's bull wrapping. Oh, you know what? The questions are all gone when you get the answers right away.
It takes so much of the guesswork out of it.
Does this look like an ovulation? Does this look like she's gravid? Could be. It's hard to tell by pictures. Do you think she's building? Well, she's bull wrapping, but that could be a number of things.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't necessarily, you know, she could have just ate last week, or, oh, my animal's not eating. That means she's gravid, and you don't feed her anymore. Well, you know what? No, she just missed a meal or missed a couple meals because something's off, and now you're not feeding her. And then when she is ready to breed, she doesn't have enough fucking weight on her to give you a viable clutch. Ultrasound, baby. So how we do it, we do not lower temps. Okay. We do not drop our temps. We breed all year round.
Okay.
Okay. We do not put a male in a female's tub unless she's already building on her own and 12 millimeters and up. So I do absolutely nothing to my temps. I don't spray them. I don't lower the temps. I don't put on any music. I don't put males in just to help stimulate them to build. None of that. And I'm doing 200 clutches a year, year after year after year. The females will build on their own. Well, how do I know they're building? You got to either look and hope that she is, or get an ultrasound and know.
Yeah.
Because we ultrasound every 2 weeks. We ultrasound the ones that haven't built or haven't are not just got into the breeding rotation. So we'll look and we'll ultrasound, and if she's 12 millimeters or up, we put it into Husbandry Pro. It's another thing about Husbandry Pro. Keep track on everything, see the levels. We have charts. It's awesome. So we scan the tub, pass the animal to Austin or myself. We ultrasound. 14 millimeters. 14, submit. Tells us the date, tells us this. And it tells us the last time we ultrasounded, she was at 7. Okay. Now she's at, a month later, now she's at 14. Oh, wow. As soon as she's over 12, we put a yellow clip on the tub, which means now she's ready to start pairing. And then what we do is we pair her for 3 consecutive months, so every 4 weeks, the male goes back in, and we keep ultrasounding once a month. And once she's at, if we see it at like 25 or 26, we'll put a little black clip beside the yellow, which means she has one more lock. And then as soon as we get that one lock, we take the yellow off, and black means she's gravid. So as soon as she's over 3 millimeters or 30 centimeters, no more food, no more pairing. We just wait for the eggs. Now, we have, out of 200 pairings, I think we've had about 7 to 9 reabsorptions. But that could be because, we've overused the male. There's certain males that, he gets a little bit too much, play.
Yeah.
Could be a number of things, but it's such a low number, like 3, 4, 5%. I don't fathom it. It doesn't.
That's not bad at all.
So we just ultrasound when a female's over 12, and I'm talking on her own. No stimulation from a male, no lowering temps, no nothing. We basically just put a clip on, start pairing. We still ultrasound. Once they're over 3 centimeters, we put a black and let them go on their own.
Just waiting for her to tell you when she's ready.
Yeah, and it's worked well for us. And you want to get between 12 and 30 millimeters. You want to get at least 2, if not 3 locks. And that's been sort of key for us. There's people that put a male in every single week for 6 months. The more sperm doesn't get you more eggs. It stresses them out. That's what it does. And I'm getting 1, 2, 3 locks, and I'm getting 200 clutches. And that's why my male. That's why my male can go to 12 or 15 females in a year, because he's going once a month to a female for 2 or 3 times, not like 4 times a month to one person. Fuck it.
You spread them between like 12 to 15 females a year?
Oh, it depends. We've had one male that did 17 this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the Mojave Monsoon, I think, has 7 clutches out. He's got 3 or 4 females that are gravid, and he's still pairing 4. So, So
nice.
As long as they're eating and breeding, and don't forget, he was a proven breeder already. So you got to watch, that. I've had some males that breed and they get 3 to 4 clutches down. Awesome. And then they go off food for 3 months, yank them, get them back on food. Finally, a couple months later, he's back eating. Okay, now I can put him back in.
Once they go off food, how soon do you yank them? Like immediately, or you give them like a few weeks?
No, I say once they miss 2 meals. So for me, that's a month because I feed every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if I've got 2 red, and then anytime we see 2 red or more, we start using Da Vinci and keeping an eye on them. But once we see 2, we yank them from breeding. And that's just what we do. So,
gotcha.
You know, because I mean, I've bred an animal to death in the past. I bred an animal too young, gave me a clutch. I bred another animal too young, it died. Like, fuck, you know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do you consider too young?
550, 600 grams. From now on, I'm going to be 700 and up, 700 grams and up. Okay. And don't forget, I don't power feed, or I wouldn't say power feed, but I'm not trying. Even people that feed weekly, Austin feeds weekly. You know, I feed every 2 weeks. So when my animals are being fed every 2 weeks and they're 700 grams, that's not 5 months. That's a good 9-10 months or even a year. Gotcha. So that's how I do it. And I've pushed an animal too young. I've had success. And then other ones, I've killed the thing. Not intention. And I've said this too. I don't know if I said it on an open platform, but I said it on my Patreon because I try to tell them everything. Like, hey, guys, one thing is I didn't breed that animal. And that animal cost me about, I think it was 11,500 euro.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't breed it because, I was greedy. I wanted to get it. And because everything I made, I was keeping. It wasn't even for sale. It was greedy of me because I wanted to get ahead of the project to make cool shit to hold back because, you know, but it wasn't like, I got to pay this thing off. I got to make my money back and sell it all. No, you know, but I had experience before, and you've seen people, 500 grams. It happens, but I'm not going to take that risk anymore. I want it 700 grams and up because I don't want to be on that line where, it couldn't. I want to be closer to the could, you know. Gotcha.
So did you breed him and he went off food and then died, or you bred him and he just like failed to thrive after that?
100%, yeah. And it's like, fuck, you know. And the little fucker locked too. It was like, yeah, it locked, and I'm like, damn. And then next time I try to take him out to put him back in the month later, he wasn't looking good, you know. And I'm like, poke, like, damn, no. I don't know, right? So it sucks, you know. And I've even had bigger breeders that, you know, you go and you put him in, he's breeding, you know, 3-year breeder, everything's great, and you open up the tub and he never misses a meal, everything's good. You open up the tub, he's laying on his side, like, what? You know, it's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
you just never know. It sucks. It's part of it.
There's kidney failures. There's heart. There's, you know, you see a lot of people when they post, especially on Facebook, like, yeah, you know, my animal died. I don't know why. It always ate, blah, blah, blah. They take it in and you see all the fat deposits and that, you know, you fed it to death. That's what you did. You're overfeeding the fucking snake, you know? So, you know, there's a lot of things and there's a lot of stuff we're still going to learn about these animals, right? That, you know, you don't know, you know? We assume everything. So, if it looks good, it breeds, it eats, you know, it's fine. It never misses a meal. It doesn't look sick. It breeds, it eats, it poops. This is awesome. Nothing's wrong with it. No, that's not the case. You never know, right?
I've been thinking about going to like every other week, at least for my adults. Right now, I take like 1 week off a month, like after hearing Dr. Warren Booth talk about like the big process that their body goes through, like where their heart swells up, blood.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And the thing is I've been, and like I said, I mean, Austin still feeds weekly, and he'll take a week off here and there. Like when he went to Tinley and stuff, he didn't feed the week that he was gone, you know. It's his animals. I'm not going to sit there and go, if you feed, you know, I'm not one of those guys. Do what works for you. If you guys are happy feeding your animal weekly and it works for you, fucking do it. But all I know is for the last 3-4 years, I've been feeding every 2 weeks. And wow, man, it doesn't skip a beat. You know, I'm saving less. I'm stressing them out less. I'm saving money. I'm saving time.
Less to clean up.
Yeah, less to clean up. And guess what? My animals aren't just at the back laying on the warm spot. They're actually moving. The food response, when I open up the tub, they want the food, not like laying on the back going, oh, fuck, another rat. Like, fuck, go on vacation or something where I can get a week off. Fuck. You know, they actually come. They're more active. And that's what a lot of people who have tried it saying, hey, Billy, holy shit, yeah, the food response is better.
It's crazy. I know just for me, just taking that 1 week off, that next week, they're like, bam.
Yeah, and they grow the same because I'm telling you, you know, people come over and I show them some of my big animals. They're like, holy shit, that's huge. I'm like, yeah, I feed it every 2 weeks. And I feed it a small medium. No, I'm like, yeah. You know, you think about it. In the wild, they're lucky to eat 15 to 20 times a year, but we want to fucking give them 52 times a year.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a good
Their
point.
bodies aren't made for that. You've heard it from Dr. Warren Booth, and their digestive systems is 10 to 14 days. It's a stressful process, like shipping, feeding, breeding. You know, it's you know, something that I do, and I just share my experience. Whatever people do with it, that's great. I don't care. Like Austin has his animals in my collection and feeds weekly. If I was such a dick and no, you can't have your animals in my collection or in my facility if you're doing it every week because you're so bad. No, do what works for you, man. That's all I'm saying. But you know, it's worth to try shit out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of pros. Obviously, the animal's health is first and foremost. That's the biggest pro.
Yeah.
And then saving time, saving money. That's time that you save and that you can put to something else related to your business. I mean, it's a lot of upside to it.
Well, you know what? When you have a collection the size of mine, I mean, it's an 8 to 10 hour day to feed our animals.
Oh, damn.
Like, yeah, and it's like shit. And then at the end of the day, if they don't eat, you're pulling them out, marking them, giving them water and some rat chow. And then, you know what? Coming back the next day and double feeding or trying to feed the other ones off with like, fuck, man, it's a 2-day thing and it's a long process. And wow.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the time it would take. But yeah, that's crazy.
It's nuts.
So is it 8 to 10 hours for just one person or 8 to 10 hours for multiple people doing it?
Well, 2 to 3 people.
Because it takes me probably about a little over an hour to feed.
Yeah, rub it in. Rub it in. Yeah. Oh, it takes me an hour.
You got way more stuff than me.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, and then in our marketing system, I mean, it's a lot of work, but you know, it would drive me nuts doing it every week. It would, you know, but doing it every 2 weeks, you know. And another thing I want to tell you about the feeding every 2 weeks for myself, in my whole back room, when you walk in my whole back room, if you've seen it, on any of the videos or stuff, we have 6 ARSs. So 75, no, they're 70s, 1065 plus a level. Plus I've added 5 on top, but under the orange line, because anything above it is Austin's. So I have 70 and there's 6 of them on that one row. So that's what, 140, 280, 420. Oh, fuck. There you go. Austin's like, oh, yeah, 420. Woo! So anyways, I have 420 animals on that wall. Most of them I have created myself and held back, or I've bought as hatchlings. You look in that wall, and I think we counted this week, there was 21 out of 420 animals that did not eat. And when you open them up, because I had somebody explaining this, how I feed, and I was opening them up, and I'm like, oh, look, this one just shed. That's probably why it didn't eat. And if you notice, 9 of these 21 have a green on it, which means it's an ASF eater. And I feed ASFs the following week that I don't feed the rats. So I keep trying to feed the ASF ones. I put a rat in, and if it doesn't eat, well, guess what? I'll feed an ASF to the ones that didn't eat or the ones that have the green. So out of those 21, or those 420, 9 of them are ASF eaters or more. So it's like, you know, if I'm looking at 420 animals from like 300 grams to 1,100 grams, and only 9 to 10 didn't eat a rat once a week, fuck, I don't have that 1,000-gram wall, guys.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they're eating the way they were supposed to eat. There's a big, huge benefit. And I've noticed that huge. Never mind the cost and knowing that it stresses it out and the time that I have to put in. The 1,000-gram wall goes away because I'm not giving them food weekly that they're always catching up to digest. You know, there's so many benefits from it. And that's why I just like to share that knowledge. And I'll never go back to feeding weekly. Never, ever, ever, never. I mean, if anything, if I had to choose, I'd go every 3 weeks besides than going to every week for sure. You know,
there was a shortage on rats that got you into that every other week mode, right?
Yeah. So back at the old facility, you know, I think it was 2017 or 2018. We had it where it was supposed to be cold. And we had like record breaking, like, you know, we had like a week or 10 days of like pure fucking heat. Like it was warmer in like November than it was in the whole time, any day of the summer. So nobody had like, you know, AC units and all this other stuff ready. And, you know, it was so extreme hot that, I mean, I even had to shut the incubators down and open up the doors because my AC in my old unit couldn't even handle how much heat it was.
Damn.
You know, yeah, it was like, holy shit, let's crank the AC, let's turn on the exhaust fans, and we had to unplug all the heat from all the ARS because that was generating heat because it was so damn hot outside. It was nuts. And a lot of these people lost their colonies. The animals weren't breeding. A lot of them came back and they were all dead, you know, because they didn't have the AC. They were leaving doors open and they just weren't.
They don't like to get overheated at all.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and they just weren't prepared because it's never happened. It's like the unfortunate shit that happened in Texas. You know, right. Oh, why don't you have generators? You should have had like AC units and all the fucking power went out. They didn't have gas because of like it was a fucking you couldn't plan for that.
Right.
You know, and even people that did plan had fucking problems because they were running out of gas. And it's like, wow. So when you're not prepared for something that you didn't think would ever happen, if it does happen, holy shit, like, you know, you're shit out of luck. But hey, you know what? People, you know, unfortunately, you know, will learn and move on or at least get by it. And it's a freak of nature, but you can't plan for shit like that. So when they had it, people were like, hey, you know, I have to start over, blah, blah, blah. And they just said to me, it's like, you know what? I'm only going to be able to give you, and I'm going to try what you get every week. I'm going to try to do it every 2 weeks. And I'm like, no, breeding season's coming. Like this is, it's going to ruin me. And I'm freaking out. And, you know, and if you look at some of my older YouTube videos, when I'm standing in front of my racks, you're going to see, I used to get label makers in yellow and I used to print off every month the weight and I would weigh them. And I'm like, holy shit, is it just me or I'm feeding them less? And they're fucking gaining weight, if not better, than when I was feeding them weekly. And I'm noticing that they're eating better. And I'm like, wow. And I never look back. And I remember because I used to say, hey, man, like, you know, I was always worried. And every 2 weeks when he would come, it's like, oh, shit. Like, when he goes, Billy, it's going to be months, man. It's going to be months. I'm like, oh, no. And then like a month or two go by. And then when he was almost ready, he's like, hey, man, I think in another, like, 3-4 weeks, I'll be back to give you some more. I'm like, dude, I'm good at this, man. I'm good at it. So what do you mean? I'm like, dude, I'm happy, man. They're growing. And then learning down the road, like with Dr. Booth and other people, I'll never go back. And, you know, I've been doing this now for 4 or 5 years and I see a lot of benefits. So I just share my info to people and whatever they decide to do with it, that's on them. Right.
Yeah, it's been super helpful to hear that stuff and real helpful to hear Dr. Booth come on and talk about like a lot of the medical stuff. So he's got a lot of knowledge. So yeah,
and he's so down to earth, and it's awesome that he's a keeper, and he's not only just with different species, and he's got access with a lot of his friends and other people that have a lot of knowledge and stuff too, which is a great resource. And it's just awesome to have someone like that in the hobby and being able to share all this info.
100%. So speaking of sharing info, so what motivated you to start your Patreon and what do you like best about the Patreon community?
Well, back in the day, it's what I've done. People would message me and I would, hey man, I give them the time. They either come to the facility if they were local or they drive in and I would show them the stuff and motivate them and say, hey, this is what you can do and inspire them and try to say, hey, this is what I would do. And I even looked at a few people's, what they had in their collection and say, oh, you know what, you got too much of this. And, I would help. And then it got to the point where it's like, people would message me that I don't even know, just random people. Cause like YouTube and social media started getting bigger and bigger. Hey man, can you help me out? Blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't get to all the messages because it's not like I'm sitting there doing nothing. I've got things to do. And then all of a sudden,
you got shit to do?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you see a couple messages like question mark, thanks for the help. What the fuck? Like, who are you? I don't even know who you are.
Wow.
You asked me a question 4 days ago. I didn't respond because I'm too fucking busy. And you're like, oh, thanks for the help. Question mark. I didn't know I was obligated to. And then I would be on the phone with people because, I'd rather be on the phone than text. Especially, texting is like, I'll tell my girlfriend, hey, babe, I'm home in 30 minutes, or how's your day, or, something. But if it's a conversation to talk about something, I'm not going to sit there and have my fingers would get sore. And plus, now with me wearing the glasses and my fat thumbs and spell correcting and, you got to read it over so you don't, spell
time for that.
A word like wrong. Like, what the fuck? No. So I'd rather just, hey, man, if I'm going to explain it to you and see and get to know you, let me get on the phone. So I would spend hours on the phone. And, the girlfriend's like, holy shit, you just got home from work. You spent 5 hours on the phone. And there's people that I know that even on Patreon, or people that I've dealt with in the past. I've been on the phone for 5-6 hours with them. It's like, hey, you know what? Call me next week. It's like fucking 2 a.m. I got to work. So I would give this time to these people. And the one person that really pissed me off, there was someone that was really, hey, I got this. And I met him in person, come to the facility and show me his stuff. And this is what I got. And he would bring them over and I would ultrasound some of his females because he thought they were gravid and they weren't. And, I put a lot of time in this guy, and other people would message me and I'm like, I'd have to sort of pick and choose, but this guy was so excited and spending money. And I figured, hey man, I can guide this guy because he's excited like me. And like, fuck, this guy can, with the right knowledge and not going through what I have, this guy can fucking be a superstar if he wanted to, and I'm on the phone with him literally 2-3 times a week for 2-3 hours at a time. Cause I don't shut up, it's just, hey. And it's, one thing leads to another. And I get excited. I love this stuff. So I'm giving this guy, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 hours a week for 4 or 5 weeks. And, I'm messaging some other people and talking to other people too. And I don't hear from this guy for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Oh yeah, man, I got out. I'm like, what? Can I call? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? It's just not for me. It's too much work. I gotta go get rats and some weren't eating and that, what the fuck?
And you put all that time in.
Yeah. And then I'm like, you weren't going to tell me? Well. So it's like, you just take all my fucking time and I believed in you. But meanwhile, there's people out there that could have I could have helped, or they might have made a decision that was wrong that they're going to find out the hard way when I could have saved it. But I gave all my time to this fucking jackass that treated my time like nothing. So then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what? You want my time? I'll give it to you, but you're going to pay me for it. And you know what? I'll give it back to you when you buy an animal. And I know I've helped many people. I see the success. I know it. I can get discounts off of ultrasounds. I can get certain animals. There's certain things. I want to take Patreon even better. I just don't have the time. Like sometimes I feel bad because like it was a holiday this last Monday. I forgot to do the fucking
Canadian Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah. So guess what? I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm, sort of relaxing, getting stuff done. And at the end of the day, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot it, Motivation Monday. I forgot to make a post. Like, son of a bitch. And I feel bad because it's like, damn it, I missed it. And I even have like, hey, don't forget the post. But something comes up where I'm on the phone. It's time management, baby. I'm not good at it, but
it's so hard to juggle though.
It is. But with the Patreon, I know I help people. I know I've taken people, I've saved them some time. I've saved them some stuff, the Q&As I have every 2 weeks, which was another one this Sunday. I decided not to have the one last week because everybody's at Tinley. So I figured, you know what, let's skip it. But, 2 times a month we do a Q&A, and it's usually a couple hours. I got the top 2 tiers meeting on Zoom tomorrow. That's twice a month. I want to get some more stuff going, but it's so hard to coordinate with other people too. Like, and I'm not revamping it. I just want to add better things, and I want more response from people. But there's a lot of people that send me their collections at the top tiers, and I look over it and we go over and I help them, decide what to do or how to, cut the fat here and make this better. And It's definitely helping them. You know, if people stay with me forever, great. If they use me to learn a bit and then don't need me, phenomenal. But the discounts that you get off of animals, no one does. I don't care whose Patreon's out there. You don't get 15, 20, 25% off of any fucking animal. You know, like I sold 3 desert ghost, or not desert ghost, enhancer clowns. Everyone got a fucking discount. All Patreon members. Sorry. I had a guy now, it's like, oh, I'd pay you more. I don't give a fuck if you pay me more. I'm helping fucking people getting discounts with animals that, you know, they can't really afford. And I put some on payment plans, for fuck's sakes. You know, you call Fireball and ask him if you can do, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just using it because he has it. I don't know if he'll do a 30, 60-day payment plan on the 1 or 2 desert ghost clowns that he has. I'm not even sure, you know, but you know, I guarantee you, he won't give you 20 fucking % off of it.
Oh, hell no.
No, but I mean, I do that's what my Patreon is, you know, and, you know, I want people to go ahead and do well. And how do you do that? The more powerful animal, what does that cost more? If you can get higher end animals for cheaper because you're a part of a platform, I'd rather, you know, if I was all about the money, why the fuck would I sell, you know, $15,000 snakes to people for 12 when I can put them up and get 15?
Yeah. It's clearly not all about the money.
I'm working with the people that save $3,000 because now they might even be able to get a female or use that for another male for something else, but it's saving them money. And
it's consistent feedback that I get from a bunch of people. Billy loves to help people. Billy loves to give back.
I do, you know, but you know what? There's people that take advantage of you, you know, and that's unfortunate, but you know what? Because there's one bad apple out of 10, I ain't gonna fuck the other 9. You know, you know, if it comes to like, you know, 60-40, I'd be like, hey, I don't know, man. I gotta sort of, you know, pull the reins back a little bit and be sort of.
Maybe it's not the move.
No, I mean, I've been very good. I've sent people animals and they've paid me. I've done really well with helping people, and I feel good about what I do. I do. I give the advice to you, and I tell you how I do it. I don't give you advice and do the fucking opposite. You know, oh, you got to get into this gene. Oh, how many do you got, Billy? Oh, I don't got any. Well, if it's so fucking good, why don't you have any? I'm like, that's horrible, man. You know, I do what I say, you know, and not everything I say is the best, you know. I mean, I'm still learning. I make mistakes all the time. But I've done it enough to know that, hey, man, my way works. It really does, you know, but it's not the only way. But Patreon is something that I'm proud of. I was the very first to pretty much do it. And I got a lot of slack for it. Now everybody's sort of on board. You know, it's like, you know, I'm used to taking shit for stuff like cutting with scissors. I mean, I've been doing that for 10 to 12 years. And fuck, I was that go-to guy. Like, oh, that fucking guy cutting with scissors in Canada, killing all his animals. Yeah,
everybody cuts with scissors now.
If you cut your snakes, you know, open and you don't let them pip, they're bad eaters. Oh yeah, really? Fuck. You know, my snakes eat every 2 fucking weeks, and they're bigger than most fucking people's. Like, come on, you know, it's so stupid. You know,
it was a question in the chat too earlier. I don't know if you saw it, but they were asking about like hatchlings and stuff. Are you doing the hatchlings every other week as well? Every 2 weeks?
Good question. Yeah. So I've said this many times as well. What I try to do is I do feed every 2 weeks, but I feed like I don't do pinkies. I go right to hoppers. I mean fuzzies, rat fuzzies.
Okay.
So they're usually big. When they eat, you see it. They look like a sausage in the middle. You can tell a day later that they ate. Okay. So if they don't do that, I get them on mice or ASF hoppers just to get them, you know. So I try always with rats. If not, I go to another source like ASF or mice. But what I usually do, especially to get them started, you know, to get them to 150 grams to 200 grams, is I'll feed them every other week. And then 1 week, like this week we didn't feed. I got mice coming tomorrow and ASF's coming Saturday. So no rats. Next week is rats. So what I'll do is next week will be rats, which is the normal order. And then the following week, I'll put a smaller order in for ones that just came out of the incubator, double feed. Well, not double feed, but feed for a second week in a row. And then the week after, I get my normal one. So usually I'll give them 3 meals a month compared to just 2.
Okay.
Sometimes, if there's a customer that's going out in a certain time frame, I'll feed theirs weekly, but I might not give them as big as like a big fat, I don't want to see an animal every week, especially a hatchling, look like a sausage weekly and look like that its entire life until I decide to put it on, So if I'm feeding it every 2 weeks, I'll feed it where you can see, and then I'll usually throw another meal in. But sometimes when I do that, I'll feed it like a hopper or a mouse. I'll feed it something different just to get an extra smaller meal in, get some different type of meal in, and it's done well for me.
Gotcha. But and you don't let a hatchling leave your facility under a certain rate, under a certain weight, right?
Correct, especially with shipping. So I think 120 to 150 to me, depending on like if the animal came out of the egg at 110 and you want to ship it at 120, you're a fucking idiot. It's not ready. Oh, I got 1 meal in. I saw somewhere today that, on Facebook, does anyone have any help? I'm how to assist feed. I got an animal from Morph Market. I got it at 60 fucking grams. I honestly really, I want to make a board. You know what I should do? I should come back on Mondays and just fucking out these fucking idiots selling and shipping fucking animals, ball pythons at 60 fucking grams. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck if you're the biggest on the planet. You got the best name out there. If you are that fucking hard up to sell an animal at 60 and ship the fucking thing at 60 fucking grams, you're a piece of shit. You really are. I don't really give a fuck who you are. You know what I mean? That's a business model I will never fucking be behind. It's not good for the animal. It's good for your fucking pockets and your pockets only, because I'm the guy that deals with those people when they do call me, because you don't answer your phone. Oh, it fucking ate here. Yeah, the one fucking meal, if it did eat it all. And then you fucking throw them to the wind and they fucking struggle and get stressed out. I fucking hate pieces of shit like you. I really do. And I'm getting old and I do well. I've got other businesses and companies. I'm almost going to get on the point where I'm just going to be the fucking asshole and come on out and just start calling out pieces of shit that, are doing things wrong and just passing off, they make money and fuck everybody else. I fucking hate those people. I really do. I really do. It's not fucking good for the industry. You can't keep Mr. Big Breeder. You can't fucking keep an animal for another 4 or 5 weeks to feed it. Really? You're that hard up? Like, wow. Like, come on.
Yeah, 100%.
Or, you know what? If you did, stand behind your animals and help those fucking people get them to eat. Ship fucking animals at 60. Like, oh my God. I'd be embarrassed to even fucking list it. Like, Jesus. If I list an animal at 100, it's like, hey, yeah, might need some, I ship animals when I feel that they're healthy and good enough. And like, you'll never see someone doing an unboxing of an animal. Okay. Hi, I got a new fucking animal from Billy from Mutation Creation. I'm so happy. Here we go. Cut it up, open up the box, and they pull the fucking thing out. Wow, it's a little smaller than I thought it would be. What the fuck? 400 people watching. It's like, I'm not buying an animal from that fucking Billy guy. It's the most worst thing you could do for your business. Shipping an animal at 60 fucking grams. What the fuck? Feed it, you motherfuckers. Sorry, I'm swearing, but it pisses me off. Like, you can't fucking feed it. You can't put another $5-10 worth of rats in, you cheap prick. Fucking and think about the fucking being of the animal. Like, come on. And these people have to go to Facebook for all those professionals. Well, maybe you just don't have the husbandry right. It's 60 fucking grams. It's probably lost 10 grams out of the fucking egg because it didn't eat for this guy. That's why he got rid of it. Fuck, so it didn't die on him, and he got money. Fucking, these people. Morph Market should have a fucking minimum. You want to do something fucking Morph Market that's fucking, bravo. You should not be able to sell an animal or ship an animal under 100 fucking grams. That should be a fucking rule. Honestly, that's just my opinion, but I fucking stand behind it. And I don't believe in it. I really don't believe in someone selling an animal under 100 grams. Keep it for an extra 2 fucking weeks. And believe me, I had someone on my Patreon a while back message me and heard when I talked about this a while back, and he messaged the guy and said, hey, I want this snake. Can you tell me the weight? Yeah, it's 89 grams. Cool. Can you do me a favor? I'm going to send you extra money. Please don't ship it to me till it's at least 120 grams. Guy ships it to him the next fucking week. A piece of shit. I won't say his name, but I'll never buy a fucking animal from him. And he's got some nice shit. I'll never buy a fucking animal from him ever.
He just randomly shipped it without letting the guy know too?
Oh, he booked it and shipped it. He goes, hey, I have to ship it out. I'm like, wow, really? Fucking pathetic. The guy was willing to pay extra. Hey, man, do me a favor for the snake. You don't have the extra. If you can't keep a fucking one hatchling for an extra month to feed it, you shouldn't be in this fucking hobby, motherfucker. Really. Like, it pisses me off. Like I'm boiling right now. Like, wow. Like, it drives me nuts, people, and anyone listening, don't do that. Think about it. If you got an animal and it was 60 fucking grams, what would you feel? I wouldn't be fucking happy. So why would you want to do that to your customer? Think about how your customer feels, not how your wallet is. I gotta clean a tub and feed it for an extra month. Who gives a fuck? That's your job. Make sure that the animal's healthy and the customer gets a fucking great experience from you. That'll keep your business going. Because all these people, I do so well. But people fucking talk, and more people are going to be fucking know that you're a piece of shit selling animals as fast as you get them out of the fucking egg. You might be doing good now, but guess what? I'm not buying from you. And I'll tell other people not to buy from you. And other people will do the same, and we should.
Yeah, that made perfect sense.
It is.
Yeah, I didn't mean to set you off.
Yeah, but it pisses me off, man. It's like, because what happens? It's the end user has a shitty experience. They have to sit there and try to, hey, I just bought an animal from Billy and I got to assist feed it the first time I fuck. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why should they have to go through that? They should get a healthy animal,
Right.
Like, man, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But, if that's how they want to run their business, keep running it to the fucking ground. It's how it is. So, think of how you'd want to be treated, and that's how you treat your customer.
Yeah, that's golden rule. Do unto others.
Well, you would think so, right? Like,
yeah.
Some people just don't get it. Some people think they're bigger than it all. Like, I don't have to do that. Fuck them all. Yeah, okay. Great attitude.
So you touched on a little bit of this earlier, but like, what's next on the horizon for Mutation Creation? What we got coming up? What can we look forward to?
I'm looking at getting another sort of couple sort of facilities or working with people in the U.S. So that I have animals. So instead of mutation, keep growing this way. I want to have it where, and that's one of the reasons, it's funny because Patreon has been a lot more, for me behind the scenes. And the 2 people that I'm working with right now, and there's a third that we're starting to get ready or seeing how we're going to organize it. They're people on my Patreon. So through Patreon, I've learned people getting their asses handed to them, dealing with fucking every problem on the planet. And I get to see how they react. Like, holy shit, most people would have ran after the second fucking thing. You're on fucking the 5th fucking problem and you're fucking trying to learn. And man, that's good because you know what? I got my ass handed to me for 6 fucking years before I learned how to do it. No one helped me. I had no guidance. There was no social media. It was fucking a shit show. And you hear stories about the past. It was a fucking shit show. I don't even know how I lasted. I guess just because I fucking wanted it so bad, and I don't know. But I mean, there's
I heard a bunch of horror stories about the past.
Many amazing people got out because of the bullshit, and they're just like, fuck it. And they were amazing breeders that loved this, but they just couldn't handle the fucking crap, and it was horrible. So I don't want people to go through that crap. So with Patreon, I've seen people, have a bad fucking day and throw it all away. Like, what the fuck? Like, you ain't meant for this. Bye. You know, I don't want to work with people that are fucking gonna, you know, oh, I didn't hit the mail in this clutch. Oh, this fucking hobby sucks, crying like a bitch. What the fuck? Like, what about the other 20 fucking animals that you done? Like, well, oh no, but this was the one I really want. Boo-hoo, fucking who? Like, wow. You know what? You ain't meant for this. I can't work with someone like you that's gonna worry about the fucking shit, the one little shitty thing, and not fucking glorify the hundreds of things that went good for you. You know, I've seen people, how they spend, how they think, how they grow, how they market themselves. I get to connect with them personally. Like, wow, man, you know, I know with my help, they can fucking go to another level, you know? And you know what? It's funny because I've had a list for many, I've had 2 or 3 people that, you know, were like on my list. Like, hey man, I want to send you a fucking, you know, $200,000 worth of animals and racks. And this is what we're going to do. And, you know, take you to another level, you know, fucking quit, you know, got off, did something else. And I get it. Right. But, you know, it's, for me.
So they quit after you sent them all the stuff?
Oh, no, before.
Okay.
You know, like, you know, or something happened or life got in the way and, you know, and I get it. Right. There's certain people that, I mean, I have like, wow, this person would be good. And when you speak with someone, you see what they do or how they comment on other people's posts or, you know, it's you know, it's like my staff, like we always don't all get along, but guess what? You know, everyone that's part of MC is fucking awesome. They have their own traits. They have their own things. And they don't always do everything that I want my way. I mean, they have their own little unique things. And Austin is amazing at what he does. He breathes and he sees how I do things, and he does things differently for his own collection. You know, I've learned so much from him. And I do this, and you know, and other people have their own skills and they do their own way, but at the same time, they're good people. And you know what? Even though, you know, we may clash or butt heads, you know, at the end of the day, we laugh and fucking move on. Other people can't, you know, oh my God, that person said this about me, and they're fucking hatred enemies forever. What the fuck? Like, get over it. You know, so learn a lot about people, of how they do and how they talk about others. And, you know, you get a good feel for people. And, you know, especially going into business with someone. And, you know, I know because I've been there and I've seen it, you know, if everyone had an extra $100,000 to buy snakes, what would you do with it? Buy fucking $100,000 worth of snakes. Many people don't. But if you got it, you would do way better than you're doing now.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So if I can help
put the work in,
do that, yeah. So, you know, I'm doing it slowly because I gotta, you know, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna have 50, but I do want to help certain people and get certain projects into different things. I'm looking at a facility in Europe.
Oh, nice.
I should know by the end of the year. So nice. Facility in Europe. You know, I'd like to have 4 or 5 by the end of next year in the US.
Nice.
And, you know, Mutation Creation here. And, you know, I'm getting into ownership, a part owner of probably the largest rat breeding facility in Canada that I know of, or at least Ontario. So next level, that's up and running now. So,
dope.
You know, residual income there. Husbandry Pro keeps growing, and it's awesome. So, you know, eventually that'll be residual income. There's a few other little things that I'm trying to get into. I'm the distributor for the best cocoa. I'm going to say it. It's the best cocoa on the planet. Like, it goes, I've used it all.
What do you use?
Go for cocoa. So I'm a distributor here in Canada. Everyone that touches it, it blows rep the chip and rep the block and fucking everything else away. And that's my opinion, but it's also many others. It's awesome. And so I'm trying to get that into the US by the end of the year, early next year, looking for distributors and then start shipping it. It comes in 2 sizes. It's fucking amazing. So, you know, I got a great team. We're doing this. I'm going to start, you know, going down to smaller clutches, like 150 to 200 a year.
Okay.
But power ones, like crazy stuff, and diversify, getting into a few other things, commercial real estate.
Oh, nice.
There's some other, you know, avenues in the industry I want to get into. But when I solidify them a little bit better, and they do come to fruition, I can mention those. But, I just want to have anything I can do in this industry to make it better, make it more affordable, or make it more helpful to people to go to the next level. I got an amazing platform, Patreon, and I really need to put more work in. And it's like, I really want to have a meeting. I'll probably do that in the next month. What do you guys want more of? How can I make this better? Like, what do you like? What do you miss? What, I don't want to be like everyone else. And that's why, like you doing this, and then, there's MJ, and then there's, Chris Eaton, and there's so many other guys doing, these YouTube lives and Instagram lives, interviewing people. I had a big platform, and, I was getting 2,000-3,000 views in 30 days, or at the end of the week, and 200-300 viewers at a time, 200, 150, 200 at a time, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
Same thing, measure it, like having the same person on after they were on this person's last month, and them. It's like, shit, I want to do something different. So maybe I'll just come on and just go through the chat, sort of like I do on the Q&A, and, maybe we call somebody up, or, just do something different. Like, hey, how did you get into ball python? So yeah, I don't know. I just want to do something different. I don't want to be just, another day, another thing. And, it's just like me. I haven't done one of these. It's probably been 6 months, 7 months. I don't even remember the last time I did one of these besides my Patreon. Because I do this 4 times or 5 times a month on Patreon. I don't remember the last time I was on a guest. And I'm actually a guest on Flexing and Finessing on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
And then tomorrow I got the live. So I got a live tonight. I got a live tomorrow from 9 to usually 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning for the Patreon. And then I got on Saturday, Flexing and Finessing, I think it's 9 o'clock. And then Sunday at 7 o'clock, I got a 2-hour Q&A for Patreon. So 4 days in a row. So it's crazy. But I don't want to be on, I'm going on Saturday, but do you want to see me again on someone else's fucking a week later, and then another? And that's the thing. It's like, I want to do things differently, and you know what? There's room for you guys. And like, I think MJ kills it, with some of the stuff, the interviews, and, Chris Eaton, man, he's just the master. And, it's just like, I don't want to compete. I don't want to do the same thing on a different, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out a different way to do things, right? Because everyone knows who I am, and, people can take, a little bit of me. You don't want to see me all the time doing the same shit. And sometimes, like when I'm on, I had Austin and Lion. They don't talk, and I'm the one talking all the time. They're just sitting there, agreeing with me, and I have to fucking yell at them, and But I don't know. I don't know how, if I do come back, or how I want to do it. But I want to do things differently. But I definitely do want to. I got I got 1 or 2 more shipments going out in the next 30 days, and then November, December, January, February, March, those 3-4 months, I don't have to worry about shipping, or stuff like that. I'll be doing long-term payment plans, putting some sales up. But besides that, I want to sort of figure out how we can make our Patreon better, and I want to know, and that's why I love the Q&A, because I used to have to put content out hoping that, it was useful to people. And it might be, but if some people don't need it, I'm giving them useless information. So when you go on every 2 weeks, they're asking me in real time, hey, Billy, I have an opportunity to buy this or this to go with this. What do you think? Oh, wow, this is what I would do. Or, hey,
I like that setup too.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's real-time feedback every 2 weeks. You have a question, and what's good about it, people are listening now. So when I was doing something like, someone's like, excuse me, what do you think about this pairing? Batman to a yellow belly pied. Well, great, but you're going to be making double hets, and then the spot nose you want to miss, because spot nose pieds are all white. Oh, no, what? Are they? Yeah, and then other people in the channel's like, what are you talking about? I got 4 clutches of it, in the incubator. I'm like, yeah, well, when you hit spot nose in your pied, they're going to be white. Oh, fuck, I didn't know that. If I knew that, yeah, well, anyone that listened and didn't do it now know not to do that unless they want a white pie. Oh, yeah. Cool. So it's amazing that, people can ask a question, and I can answer it to help them, and other people listening or watching it later can hear it and learn from someone else's question that they might never know to ask. So
right. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
And to me, like, I mean, I just talk, so I would rather do a platform where, and I think I want to do more of those, where we pick a topic and we do sort of like a Zoom, and we can talk about the certain thing to learn and answer people's questions and stuff, because that's better for me to say, oh, I should do something about incubation. Let me do a video on incubation. And then there's 30 questions that people ask me about it that I didn't put in the video. It's like, fuck, shit, I should have thought about that. So I'd rather just do, hey, let's talk about incubation. Shoot, what do you need? Okay, oh, that's good. Oh, that's awesome. Perfect. This and that. Perfect. Oh, that's a good question. And we're serving a bigger purpose by doing that. And I think that's what I want to do with Patreon, be more one-on-one and live, because, you're telling me the content you want, and we can do it in live time, and it'll, I joined Billy's Patreon, and hopefully in the next month he puts a video up on how to get tubs ready for incubating, and I don't, and you fuck it up, where you can ask me in live, how do you, this is how I do it. I can even show you. I want it where you're not waiting for the fucking info I put out. You're telling me and I'm answering it. That's what I want, because it's for you guys,
100%.
And, I love it. I know people are benefiting. I know I've helped many people, and I know I continue to, and to get fucking awesome animals at discounts that no one else offers. I would rather make less, put them in the, So, that's just what I'm about. And the time I give, it's like, I want to be there, and give you my time to answer and help. So that's what I try to do. And I want to make it better, because I know it can be. It's just, it's hard, right? It's just, what do these guys want? Well, fuck, I'm just going to ask you, and you're going to tell me, and I'm going to try to figure out how to do it. That's how I'm going to do it. Right.
100%. Cool. All right, Billy. So I usually, once we get to the end of the show, I tell the guests to let everybody know where they can be found online, but I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat know where they can find you online. But just in case someone listens to it later on and doesn't know where to find you, tell everybody where they can find you online.
Sexy tattoo ball guy at OnlyFans.
You got some feet pics, bro?
Nothing's free, baby. You got to pay for the membership. Come on now. Everything's pretty much Mutation Creation. It used to be all Mutation Creation Canada, but then I got hacked. So I think my Instagram now is mutation__ creation. But yeah, Mutation Creation. I should pop up everywhere. But Instagram, I use all the time. Facebook, not so much. I prefer Instagram. My Patreon is Patreon/Mutation Creation Canada, I believe. And my YouTube, Mutation Creation Canada, I believe also. But I'm going to have to fix all that, make one. But
gotcha. So I don't know if you saw Chad's comment. Just about everything I've done with green ball pythons the past 3 years to you. But yeah.
I mean, I love that, because like I said, I mean, we've chatted quite a few times over the phone. He's an awesome guy. And I know that a lot of people, I get it all the time, and I don't even mean it. Like my Patreon, I'm trying to teach people and give them information and tell it real. If I don't know what it is, I have no idea. I don't like it. I'm not gonna, kiss your ass. Oh, I like sunset because you do. No, I fucking hate it. I don't like it. Some things I do, maybe I'll like it in the future, but right now it doesn't work with what I'm doing. So I don't really like it. Doesn't mean it's not a great gene. There's no money in it. There's, it's never going to last. Sure it is. It's just for certain people. But YouTube, I just do videos. I just, we put the camera on and just do stuff live and stuff. And I want to start doing different videos. And when we have time, it's just been so swamped and busy. But I get emails all the time saying, hey, man, big fan. I've been following you. I've learned so much. And I'm like, wow. I mean, it's awesome how just being ourselves and doing stuff and just enjoying what we do, you guys are pulling information out that are guiding you. And it's awesome. And I think that, in the next few months, once I sort of get your guys' opinion on Patreon and what I should do, and maybe do more lives or something like, here's the topic, and I can bring a guest in and we just talk about it like on a Zoom call, or, you know, something more, you know, tutorial instead of, hi, here's a video, watch it, fucking hope you learn. Like, I don't want to do that. That's why I'm not really doing many of those. But I do want it to be interactive, and I do want to show you guys what's going on. But I do want to revamp it a bit and, you know, start sort of advertising, because I've never really advertised the Patreon. Like, you know, everyone else lately, it's like, hey, join the Patreon and doing videos. It's like, fucking now these guys are, you know, everyone was.
I don't even know how I came across it, but it was the first Patreon I joined.
Yeah, it's awesome. I appreciate it. And like I said, I hope you're learning, and, you know, that you use the benefits and the discount. Did you buy your incubator? Did you buy your ultrasound through me?
No, I ended up getting the contact from Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I might even have. I can't remember the timing, but I might even have it before.
Leaving money on the table. So, but yeah, I mean, I want to do a bunch of different things to, you know, help, you know, save money for you guys. And, you know, I want you to learn. I want you to utilize, you know, my knowledge and anything that I can help, to help, you know, go over your collection, to help guide you, whatever. And it's good because now I'm in a sort of a downward, you know, from my time. I say that now, but watch me just as busy. But, you know, November, December, January, February, it's a lot less clutches popping out, you know, no more shipping. There's a lot more things that I can work on, and Patreon's number one. And, you know, there's, I got to work on some new swag, I think, too. Okay. So, but I'm glad that I have a platform that people are watching, and they know I'm real, that I can help them with their questions, guide them the right way, utilize, you know, the discounts and some of the other benefits and stuff like that. And I know I can make it better, and I can't wait to do it, you know, and I want that feedback from you guys, right? So
definitely looking forward to that opportunity. Definitely.
Cool.
Well, Billy, I know it's getting late. I know you're very, very busy, man. I appreciate you coming on. This has been amazing. Like, I've had a great time. I've learned a lot. I'm gonna definitely go back and watch this myself. Sometimes I don't go back and watch episodes right off, but I'm gonna definitely go back and watch this one like ASAP. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, my rant will probably, you gotta check out.
Don't be surprised if you see a clip of the rant floating around.
100%. Like I said, like I don't do anything and regret it. I do it because I fucking mean it. Like, I mean, I believe in something, and I don't think I'm alone. It's not like I'm saying, oh, if you don't do this, and like, what the fuck, Billy? I do have a problem with people selling fucking animals right out of the fucking egg. I really do. And then throwing it into other people's and letting them fucking deal with the bullshit and the problems and not being there for them. Like, 100%. It pisses me off, and I don't care who it is. I believe that. I don't give a fuck if you're the biggest breeder in the world. If you do that, I think you're a piece of shit. I really do. You know, I mean, you get to 100. Oh, okay, I guess if that's okay, cool. Me, the process I have to get it, you know, into the US, I like 120 to 150. The bigger, the better for me. You know, but anything under 100, I just think, you know, I think Morph Market should say, hey guys, like, you know, there should be a policy where, hey man, like, you know, animals should have a certain weight, especially ball pythons, you know, 100 grams minimum before you ship. You know, if you care about the fucking animals, you know, there should be something. But then again, it's not Morph Market. It's fucking, you know, it's the individual people. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, Morph Market has a big, strong, you know, if you want to do this and stay on it, you know, you should have to apply by these rules. I think that'd be cool, you know, but they're not obligated to it. I think it's the breeder, you know, especially for you guys listening, man. Like, think about you getting an animal that small. Would you want to have your first interaction with a customer or a repeat customer? Would you want to fucking make them feel the way you did when you got it? I wouldn't. So think about what's best for you. You know, if you can't afford $10 extra in mice and 4 or 5 extra weeks to hold it in one tub before you ship it, you're in the wrong business, man. Think of the animals. You know, think about the customers, you know. It's just, you know, it's something I believe in, I'm strong in, and you know, I won't change my story any fucking time soon. It's what I believe in, and that's it. So
100%. Definitely appreciate you sharing all this knowledge, bro. Definitely. And definitely appreciate you coming on. Also appreciate everybody in the chat. We're going to go ahead and get out of here for tonight.
Cool.
But again, thank you everyone for coming out. Billy, again, thank you for coming on. Can you hang out for a quick second?
I can.
We'll play the outro real quick. Everyone in the chat, thank y'all for coming out.
Good night, everyone.
Peace.